Mike, drop that now! Drop it! Drop it now! Drop it! Drop! Drop it! Drop it now!
The man was Marcus Monzo, a samurai sword-wielding crazed killer who beheaded a 14-year-old boy and wounded 4 others in just 20 minutes. The attack happened in broad daylight, in a quiet residential area of East London, and shocked the whole of Britain. But what turned Marcus Monzo, a man who once lived a normal life, into an uncontrollable monster? Was it drugs? Was it hallucinations? Or was it something much darker? Join us as we delve into the twisted mind of a killer and relive every second of this horrific case. Marcus Arduini Monzo, born in Brazil in 1988, moved to England in 2013. Before becoming the focus of one of the most brutal crimes in modern Britain, Marcus was a relatively quiet man living in the Newham area of East London. He had no serious criminal record and did not attract attention in the community. However, behind that normal appearance was a mind that was gradually rotting. Marcus was passionate about martial arts and was particularly obsessed with sharp weapons, especially Japanese swords. Nearly a month earlier, Marcus Monzo had ordered a handmade samurai sword from Japan. When it arrived, he filmed the entire unboxing process on his phone, his expression as ecstatic as a religious ritual. In the creepy video, he laughed, called the sword a ninja thing, and let his pet cat, Wizard, slip into the frame. Little did anyone know that this ordinary scene would be the beginning of a national nightmare.
It's just a kid. That's why. Well, I'm rushing in, but how can I not rush in? Look at this. Have a good peek. Rich. King House, look at this. This is handmade in Japan. Took more than a month to reach me. Fuck. Oh, shit. Ooh.
Marcus spent over 400 pounds on 2 swords. For him, they were more than just a hobby. They were a manifestation of his growing obsession with sharp weapons and killing. After receiving the swords, Marcus began to slip away from reality. He became dark, withdrawn, and developed a sense of mission for killing. The signs began to emerge after trips to India and the Amazon, where Marcus attended spiritual retreats and consumed ayahuasca, a powerful psychedelic tea that has been warned to cause long-term psychosis. After his return, he became strange, often talking about conspiracy theories, voices in his head, and the existence of a killer personality inside him. Marcus's family and brother confirmed the change, but no one expected it to lead to tragedy. The first victim in that horrific massacre was not a human, but a pet cat named Wizard. One seemingly ordinary morning, Marcus Monzo approached the small animal that had been his companion for many years. He reached out and strangled the cat, his eyes emotionless, not a single tremor. Marcus did not stop after ending the animal's life. He placed the cat's body on the floor and began a brutal, surgically precise operation. With a sharp knife, Marcus skinned the cat piece by piece, disemboweled it, and carefully removed the bones. Every move bespoke preparation. For Marcus, this was not a kill, it was the first bloody rehearsal for something bigger, more gruesome. After completing this morbid, opening ritual, Marcus placed the cat's body in his Ford Transit van. He then loaded it up one by one: 2 Japanese swords, a pellet gun, and a backpack full of spare clothes, as if preparing for a long-distance battle. At around 7:30 a.m., Marcus left his residence, traveling about 9 miles toward the Haino area of East London. The journey took nearly 90 minutes, suggesting Marcus had calculated and chosen a specific time, when the residential area was starting to bustle. Students were leaving for school, and adults were starting to go to work. When he arrived in the Haino area, Marcus did not stop or show any signs of hesitation. He drove deep into the residential area, observed potential targets, and prepared to enter the first phase of an armed attack with particularly serious consequences. According to the results of the investigation at the scene and testimony from the surviving witness, the first victim attacked with a sword was Mr. Donato Iwuli, a resident who did not know the subject. At approximately 8:50 a.m. on the 4th of April, 2024, while walking on a residential street in the Hino area, Mr. Donato was suddenly swerved and hit by a Ford Transit van driven by Marcus Monzo. The impact threw Mr. Donato into the front garden of a house, but fortunately he was not seriously injured. In a dazed state and mistaking this for a sudden traffic accident, the victim moved towards the driver's seat with the intention of assisting the driver. However, instead of seeing someone panicking or apologizing, Mr. Donato witnessed Marcus Monzo getting out of the car with a Japanese sword in his hand, his face strangely calm, even smiling. According to the victim's testimony, Marcus did not say much, only calmly declaring that he wanted to kill him. Realizing the situation, Mr. Donato immediately retreated, trying to avoid it. However, the subject quickly swung the sword, slashing hard at his neck, causing a deep wound and severe blood loss. Blood poured onto the sidewalk, and he screamed loudly for help in pain. With survival reflexes and adrenaline, Mr. Donato was lucky to escape Marcus's control, ran away from the scene, screaming for help. While the people around did not understand what was happening, Marcus continued to move in the opposite direction, searching for the next target. Seconds later, Daniel Angerin, a 14-year-old boy on his way to school, became the second target. According to his family, Daniel was a model student and a smart boy who had left home that morning wearing his gym uniform, a backpack and headphones. When Daniel stepped into the street, just a few dozen meters from the scene of the attack, he was completely unaware that an armed killer was approaching from behind. A witness standing nearby shouted a warning, but because he was wearing headphones, Daniel did not hear the screams. Marcus, taking advantage of the element of surprise, rushed from behind and swung the sword decisively. The slash hit the neck, causing a serious wound that almost severed the victim's head, causing the victim to collapse on the sidewalk. The subject continued to stab Daniel in the chest while he was lying motionless on the street. This was an act determined to be intentional murder, extremely brutal, inhumane, and one of the most serious points of the entire case. Immediately after that, emergency calls poured into the police emergency switchboard, and police and paramedics were immediately dispatched to the scene of the high-nose stabbing. The paramedics arrived first, but just seconds after they reached the area where Daniel Angerin lay, Marcus Monzo rushed in. In his hand was a Japanese sword, the steel blade still stained with blood. Without saying a word, he swung the sword straight at the front of the ambulance, causing the paramedics to panic and retreat. The police arrived just minutes later. A lightly armed unit quickly approached the area. Before them was a horrifying scene. Marcus was still there, covered in blood, holding a sword, standing between Daniel's body and the authorities. Warnings were blaring. Marcus ignored him. He did not surrender. Suddenly, he turned and ran, disappearing into the maze of alleys and gardens in the densely populated residential area. A tense chase immediately began. The police force formed a formation to pursue, but Monzo did not run away out of fear. He was hunting. He chose the location, calculated the escape route, stalked his prey like a madman with a plan. At the end of an alley, he pressed his back against the wall, hiding and waiting. As two officers, one of them a policewoman, turned the corner, Marcus suddenly lunged out. The blade tore through the air, slashing through the policewoman's head, slicing open her scalp and landing straight on her arm, causing a wound so deep that the bone was exposed.
Police officer stopped! Police officer stopped! Right! Yes, it's been stopped! Stop!
Once again, Marcus slipped through the net. In the chaos, he slipped through the backyard fence and entered a house through the back door. Inside, a family was sleeping soundly, Henry and his wife and their 4-year-old daughter. Without a sound, Marcus crept into the bedroom. When Henry woke up with a start, not knowing what was happening, Marcus rushed at him. "Do you believe in God?" he shouted, then swung his sword. The vicious slash almost severed Henry's hand. The father used a pillow to shield his wife and daughter, but the weapon was too strong and too fast. After brutally attacking Henry's family, Marcus Monzo continued to flee. Police quickly raised the alert level, locked down the entire Hainaut area, and deployed special forces. A witness reported seeing a bloody man running across the roof, still holding a sword. Police immediately expanded the area of capture, following his trail through each row of houses and narrow alleys behind. After nearly 20 minutes of searching, the capture force discovered Marcus hiding behind a row of adjacent houses. He refused to surrender. Still clutching the sword, his eyes filled with confusion, Marcus braced himself for one last chance to continue resisting. Police were forced to use a stun gun to subdue him. He collapsed on the tiled floor, his body covered in blood, most of it from the victims he had just murdered.
I had no choice but to draw my baton because he was closing down the distance, swiping at me with the sword. So by the time he got to me, I had my baton out and up, and then we effectively hit each other. Our weapons hitting in midair and then catching each other slightly. I caught him a little bit, he caught me a little bit, but clearly a sword causes more damage, and so he cut my hand open.
At the scene, police seized 2 Japanese swords, a pellet gun, and a backpack containing various personal items. Marcus Monzo was arrested at 9:28 a.m. The 38-minute manhunt ended a bloody Thursday morning that shocked the entire UK. As he was handcuffed and led away, he continued to mumble cryptic phrases about mission and liberating souls. After his arrest, Marcus Monzo was taken to police headquarters for formal questioning. There, he quickly admitted to possessing dangerous weapons, including 2 Japanese swords and a pellet gun. However, Monzo steadfastly denied murder or attempted murder. He denied any responsibility for the horrific consequences of the attack, despite clear evidence and testimony from surviving witnesses. During interrogation, Monzo displayed a marked psychotic state. He claimed that he had not one but multiple personalities, one of which was a killer. He said that he felt like a professional assassin carrying out a predetermined mission, and that all of his killings were the result of spiritual guidance. Monzo said the changes in his mind began after trips to India and the Amazon, where he took part in rituals using ayahuasca, a powerful psychedelic tea. He said the drug activated an alter ego, causing him to see the world as a spiritual battleground between light and darkness. He claimed his actions were to free his soul and felt no remorse. Marcus Monzo's case was quickly brought to trial at the Old Bailey, where the most serious crimes in Britain are heard. During the trial, the jury heard the full story of the tragedy, from Monzo deliberately driving his car into his first victim, to killing Daniel Angerin with a sword, injuring police officers, and then breaking into homes with the intention of killing again. Faced with overwhelming evidence from security cameras, witness testimony, and forensic examination, Marcus Monzo was found guilty of several serious charges. Specifically, murder of 14-year-old Daniel Angerin, 3 counts of attempted murder of Mr. Donato, policewoman and landlord Henry, serious injury, armed break-in, and possession of a dangerous weapon in a public place. In his defense, Monzo's attorney cited his mental instability and the influence of psychedelics. However, the court determined that the subject had acted deliberately, carefully prepared, and understood the consequences of his actions. His actions were not only brutal, but also caused deep fear in the community. The judge formally sentenced him to life in prison, with a minimum term of 38 years and 309 days before being eligible for parole. This is considered one of the harshest sentences in recent history, reflecting the level of cruelty and danger of the case.
I have asked myself what minimum term would I have imposed on someone who had committed all these offences when they were in their right mind. The sort of figure I would have arrived at to reflect 3 attempted murders and 2 woundings with intent, with 2 police officer victims, would lead to a term of perhaps 50 years, though in fact I would probably instead have regard to paragraph 8 of the schedule and conclude the mass of aggravation of the other offences would lead to a whole life order. On the basis that a person who had committed all the dreadful offences of the 30th of April last year would attract a minimum term of the order of 50 years, I reduce the term I impose on you by a fifth to recognise your mental ill health and previous good character to 40 years. From that, I have to deduct the number of days already served. Therefore, the sentence I pass for count 2, the murder of Daniel Angeline, is life imprisonment with a minimum term of 38 years and 309 days. Mr. Monzo can go now. Thank you, gentlemen.
The horrific massacre by Marcus Monzo not only took the life of an innocent teenager, but also left a deep haunting for the victims' families, the Haino community, and the whole of Britain. From a Japanese sword to a mysterious spiritual journey, from the death of a cat to a plan for mass murder, Monzo's actions are a testament to the extreme mental breakdown that is pushed to the extreme when timely intervention is not provided. The Marcus Monzo case is a clear warning about the dangers of neglected disorders, of uncontrolled obsessions, and above all, about the terrible price that society must pay when a person loses his mind.